What do women do that men would never think about? Factoring in my period when planning events. For instance, wedding day, camping trips, kayaking adventures, etc. Ugh, yes, I hate that. Mine seems to manage to appear on Christmas, my anniversary, my birthday and any holidays we take, no matter how I plan. I'm on the pill, so it should be regular. But stress can bring about my period too, so there is no guarantee for me. I was once stressing so much about a trip I was about to take. All the planning, and getting everything in order, and leaving the pets behind, that I spotted for a whole month. Similarly, how your cycle will affect your workout schedule. I took a pill for 2 years, where I had no period, and no PMS symptoms. It was damn insane. I was so constant and predictable with my workouts, but once I got off the pill, the changes were drastic. Some days, I have what feels like zero gas in the tank, just no energy at all. Or I will get cramps, or nausea, or back pain. Every week during the cycle is so different, and it's kind of infuriating to me how normal it is to work out when you don't get a period. This is my biggest issue with being off the pill and trying to work out in the morning. I know my period is coming when I wake up and just cannot find energy to move until the absolute last possible minute. Most days I can snooze once or twice and get up. But the week before my period, at least one of the days, I will wake up and it feels like the Sandman himself is dragging me back to sleep. Panic when they sneeze during their period. I have given birth to way too many jellyfish. The worst is when you don't even cough or sneeze. It just decides to slide out right while you're in conversation with someone and you have to keep a straight face. Can relate, but it terrifies me every time. If you are a squeamish boy or girl, stop reading now. About 24 hours after I had my first baby, I birthed a softball-sized jellyfish in the bathroom of my hospital room. I'll never forget that. It was terrifying. I was all alone, and it was just sitting there in my underwear, all unsteady and gross. I was afraid it was going to fall on the floor. But not knowing what it was, I was afraid to put it in the toilet. Just a clot, but it looked like an extra alien baby that was left behind. OMG, you just reminded me of an event. I had a miscarriage many years ago and had to have a D&C. Had a checkup a week later and had been having some pain and no discharge. The doctor went in and stirred it up. Antibiotics and see ya later. Got home. Things aren't normal, so I hopped in the shower and it was like a murder scene in there. I was machine gunning clots the size of golf balls. It was so traumatizing and just went on and on. Or be paranoid about sitting in a light colored chair. Oh god, the worst is when you're sick on your period, trying to clench while you cough, lest you push your tampon right out. Deleted. Please tell me that you reported him. And not just to Uber. To the police. Following you is way over the line. That was sexual harassment and inappropriate in many ways. That guy should lose his job. I had a cab drop me off 4 blocks from my house because the cab driver was being a creep, which didn't vastly improve my situation because then I had to walk 4 blocks in the dark on Detroit's east side. Not a decision I was prepared to make that night. I had a cab driver turn off the road into a underground car park. I absolutely lost my shit, started screaming and yelling. I was on the phone with my husband too and started telling him my address and the taxi number so he could call the cops. The driver claimed he was taking a shortcut. I told him to quit his bullshit. I know how to get to my house and this is certainly not a shortcut. Not to mention there was only one exit to that car park and it was next to the entry. Driver freaked out and pulled back into the road. He did drop me to my street. Then when I refused to pay the full fare for scaring me and purposely taking a longer route, I said I'd pay what the average trip costs, which I thought was reasonable. My husband was all for not paying him after the driver's car park stunt. He threatened to call the cops. I told him to please do, and he can explain why he was taking his lone female passenger into an underground car park. When I got out he tried to follow me and grab me until he spotted my very not happy husband waiting for me with a baseball bat in hand. He left quickly after that. The whole time I tried to sound tough so he would stay away from me, but I was absolutely terrified from the moment he turned into that car park. This is why my dad would never let us take taxis as kids. and when he had to take one, he'd have them pick him up at a different location, so they wouldn't know where he lived. I've taken a taxi like 3 or so times in my life. And never when I'm at home. I don't do Uber or Lyft either. I could see doing it downtown, maybe to bar hop. But I don't let people know where I live. I have never taken an Uber or a Lyft alone, and some of my male friends are so perplexed by the lengths I'll go to make sure I can easily get myself home safely at the end of the night. I have no desire to ride in a stranger's car alone. I wish female riders could request female drivers only, if that's a thing already. Please let me know. I drove Uber/Lyft for like a solid 2 months. Can't tell you how many young women I picked up who were so happy just to see another young female face. But sadly, driving for rideshare is actually a lot more scary as a female than I've ever felt as a rider. I had a lady Uber driver the other night and said something similar because I hadn't been planning on taking one alone. Long story. And then she told me the same thing back because it was her first night driving again after a man was touching himself in her car and starting yanking her hair from the back seat when she told him to knock it off. She said she has no idea how she didn't wreck. I had literally never thought about it the other way around. Being the driver alone would be so scary. That's horrible. It makes you wonder if they even care about being reported. I took a cab home one night alone and the driver kept asking to have some of my coke. I had gotten McDonald's before getting in the cab and I had to keep telling him no. But he kept saying he'd been driving for ages and hadn't had a break. At one point he picked it up and asked if I was going to finish it, and I kinda rudely told him he could stop at one of the shops we were passing if he wanted and keep the meter running. I didn't mind paying the extra. He declined. Ended up drinking my coke because I got sick of saying no. Asked where I was from, told me I looked exotic. Then when he dropped me off asked if my boyfriend was home and if I was going to tell him that. He had asked if I was single. He gave me a weird interrogation to see what I would tell my boyfriend about the coke incident. Lol. Also for context, the entire drive was like 15 minutes tops. This happened in 15 fucking minutes. Debating the necessity of shaving my legs for specific events. Related, the number of times I've chosen to wear black tights over skin toned ones so I didn't have to shave my legs. Planning out which days to wash my hair so it aligns with my schedule. Guy with long hair reporting in. This is the only thing in this thread I can relate to. Do I wash my hair today or tomorrow before I go out? If I wash it today, put argan oil in and keep it up all day, my curls will look great tomorrow, but I risk it looking frizzy. If I wash it tomorrow, I risk it being too weighed down while I'm out. Feeling a little bit of dread when you have a DM from a stranger because you know opening it is basically disappointing penis roulette. Sorry for laughing, but I've never heard it called disappointing penis roulette. I've never once seen a dick pic and been like, damn, that is one sexy penis. I want it in me now. That just isn't how it works. Random penises don't do it for me or any woman I know. Even if it's the nicest penis in the world. Sorry guys. Even if I got a nice one, I'm not going to want to meet the dick attached to it because sending an unsolicited dick pic is a big no. Men do not seem to get that they're legit cock blocking themselves with their cock. Do not send it unless you are asked. Just don't. Or if you cannot wait to be asked, then ask for permission before you send it. Why is that so hard to understand? My ex-BF once told me I shower so hot because I feel homesick for hell. Thanks, hun. Honestly, next time someone asks me why I shower so hot, this is what I'm going to tell them. We use so much toilet paper, especially on our periods. When I moved in with my boyfriend, he made a comment on how quickly we were going through toilet paper. I've always made it a point to use as little as possible. But the look on his face when I reminded him that I need to use it for all of my trips to the toilet seemed like that really just never occurred to him. He's learning about living with a woman, trying to go easy on him, lol. I never really thought about how little dudes use. Must be only a square or two unless it's a shit. Girls have to use a shitload. Piss gets everywhere. All the way down. Right before our wedding, my now husband and I were shopping, and he went to get toilet paper. He came back with a 4-pack. I asked him why he only got 4. He didn't quite hear the word only and answered for the future. 4 to him was stocking up. I'm prepared for things / have it in my purse. Spare phone charger, Fitbit charger, ibuprofen, naproxen, lactase pills, sewing kit, tampons, pens, sticky notes, battery pack, checkbook, stamps, chapstick. Some days it's just impressive and I'm like a goddamn Mary Poppins. Y'all. So true. And anxiety if we don't have our purse with supplies. Inevitably someone needs a band-aid or Kleenex the one time we don't have it. A lot of things related to grooming. The extent to which many of us deal with body hair, rough skin, hair and skincare, makeup, nails, etc. Like it's a meme that women's bathrooms are a mess of random products. But I don't think many men actually think about the time and effort put into actually using those products. They just take it for granted that women's bodies are naturally smooth and soft and pretty. I was on a beach vacation with a guy I was seeing and didn't bring a razor since airport security usually confiscates them. One night in bed I noticed my armpits were getting hairy and he asked why I didn't pick up a razor at the drugstore the night before. I said I don't know. I guess I wasn't thinking about my armpits last night. Were you thinking about your armpits last night? And his mind was blown that things like hair removal that seem to happen effortless behind the scenes require actual conscious thought and preparation. He is relatively hairless though, so I'm assuming this would be less of a revelation for men who have to groom their own bodies more frequently. Edited for word choice. Not to mention the cost of all those products. I'm not even going to go into the pink tax. And it's not even the maintaining cost of those products, but the sunk costs of finding and figuring out which products don't work for you. You know how much it hurts to walk out of Sephora having dropped $200 on 4 products that all fit in the tiniest gift bag? Not to mention the wildly misleading and often downright false advertising for those products, especially with cosmetics and skincare. So much stuff is just straight up snake oil in a pretty bottle. Okay. Thank you for this validation. I once felt horrible after a male student on a uni trip came into my hotel room to use the bathroom, not because of the mess, which I hadn't had time to consolidate before he came in, but because he gave a low whistle of disapproval at how much stuff I had strewn on the counter. But now I don't feel bad about it. He just saw a mess, not the effort I put into looking presentable. I heard someone say this a while ago. Guys want a beautiful woman, but don't want them to spend the time getting ready. They thinks it's annoying we spend an hour at the gym and an hour doing makeup. Yet they want us to look flawless. It's lose-lose, no matter what we do. Remove hair from our belly, around our nipples, upper lip hair. Not just pubic / armpit / leg hair. My husband and I were getting a little touchy-feely the other day in the morning and I noticed him take a second longer glancing at my boobs. But not in a "oh yes" kind of way, but more of a WTF kind of way. Afterwards he says, "Don't shave your nipples anymore. I'll help you tweeze them if you want." I'm still not sure how I feel about this interaction days later. I'm conflicted for you. I'm a dude with nipple hair and I actually really enjoy tweezing my nipples. Also won't shave them, because I remember a kid shaving his half off when we were on the swim team. This would make me feel very self-conscious and really annoy me. I'd have a conversation with my partner about it if he did that. I didn't feel self-conscious at all because we are pretty open and honest with each other and his tone wasn't judgmental. Marizo just a statement. I think I was conflicted because it never occurred to me that he would actually notice, but now that he did, it made me realize how ridiculous shaving my nipples really is. I'm still going to do it because I like being hairless, but it really is kind of a stupid concept when you think about it. Don't forget chin. That one hair that appears out of nowhere and only seems evident in the rearview mirror of the car when you are rushing somewhere and don't have tweezers anyway. I figured after 15 years together my husband knew this, but he was in the bathroom when I was showering the other day and I leaned down to shave my legs and ran the razor over my big toes too, for good measure, and he just exclaimed, "You shave your toes." I like that he had accepted I shave my legs and armpits, but apparently just assumed all the other places he has hair I magically don't. It was somehow, without action on my part, put off buying a pregnancy test when your period is late. It's a huge roller coaster to go buy one. Take it. Imagine raising a child. Imagine telling your partner, trying to decide what to do with it, then getting a negative result. I've had a stern look at my whole life. Reassess our relationship, your ability to parent, my ability to parent, my finances, my ability to terminate a pregnancy, and you will never even know it happened. And debating whether to get the single pack or 3-pack. I make sure to never leave a drink unattended at a bar. Even if it's a really uncrowded or laid back seeming bar, it's second nature. I don't think many men think about this much. Once at a bar with my boyfriend I got up to go to the bathroom, and when I came back, I realized he had also gone to the bathroom and left both our drinks on the table. I had to remind him to please not do that when he's out with me. Oh yeah, I've been out with guys who gave me weird looks when I chugged my drink before going to the bathroom. They didn't understand why I wouldn't feel comfortable leaving it unattended. Also the guys who don't understand why you can't just go for a solitary stroll after dark. I got hungry in the middle of the night, but there was no food available. My ex was like, just walk to the corner store, almost a kilometer away. He called me paranoid and childish for not wanting to take a midnight stroll by myself in a small town with inadequate lighting. But whenever I go out with you, I never witness you getting any harassment. Yes, that's because I'm out with a man, not by myself, dumbus. Also the guys who don't understand why you can't just go for a solitary stroll after dark. I know I've gotten a few eyebrows raises from other women back in college when I walked to a convenience store at 3 AM. A couple of times we'd end up going in a big group because they didn't think it was safe for me, despite it being safer for me to go alone. I never heard any of our male acquaintances having the same fear. Also, never let a random buy you a drink unless you go up to the bar with them and watch the bartender make it. There's a club in downtown Seattle that was busted for tons of shit. One being the bartenders putting roofies in girls' drinks. I ended up being a victim because I didn't follow the random up to the bar and he returned with a vodka crown with a side of roofie. Ouch. Planning my period/birth control around important events and vacation. Making sure I never leave the house without at least one menstrual pad and 1 to 2 doses of painkiller in my bag. Trying not to forget to shave my arms/legs etc. if I hadn't worn shorts/short sleeves in a while. And then because I'm someone with PCOS, hormonal issues. One of the symptoms is excessive hair growth. Making sure there's no missed dark hairs on my chin/neck. Whenever I tell someone I have a mustache and excessive dark chin hairs because of PCOS, they're always like, wow really? I can't see anything. Oh yeah, that's because I spend time bleaching and plucking my face daily, so you don't see anything. Change the hand towel in the bathroom. I once worked at a place that had actual hand towels, vs paper, in the bathrooms. When I started working there I asked how and how often they got washed. Not only was the answer a big huh, apparently my very mentioning it meant I was volunteering to take on towel maintenance duty. I took them home every weekend and brought them back on Mondays so fresh and so clean. Yeah, I'd think it'd be annoyed, but it was satisfying. Being told how you're so small and delicate that he could just break you in half. I once had a guy actually put his hands on my neck and say, wow, I could probably just snap your neck. Go away. I'm assuming men don't do that to other men. I wouldn't consider myself short, even when I was a kid/teen, but I was scrawny. So many times guys and gals picked me up without asking me. I can't see many dudes doing that to their friends. Lol. I got the I could snap your limbs in half comment way more than I'd care for. But the one that always weirded me out were people joking they'd like to force feed me, usually cheeseburgers. That not cool. People, since most of the more obvious ones have already been said, I'll just put this out there. I doubt very seriously my husband has, or ever will Google, whether or not his nipples will ever go back to the color they were before to kids. Or their belly button. Clean the bathroom. /s. 23F live with to 22 meters whose mothers let them suckle until the day they moved out. Lord help me. LMAO, I used to be in the exact same living situation. I had to teach them how to do laundry, how to empty a vacuum, and if I had to throw one more dirty sock out of the living room into Their rooms. I think I may have committed murder. Now I live with just my boyfriend, and I still have to deal with socks in the living room, but you know, I guess I still love him and all. No murderous thoughts yet. Spend so much time and money on their pubic hair. So much money spent on pubic hair. Have each other's backs, even if we don't know one another. I can't tell you the number of times my friends and I have rescued a poor girl in a bar or club from a creeper who just didn't understand the word no. All women know the help me eyes. Once seen, respond accordingly, usually with platonic dancing to pull her away from the creepy dude and into your larger group of people until the dude has walked away. That, and asking in any public restroom if someone has a tampon. We've all been unexpectedly caught without, and will all return the favor someday. Is it weird if it makes me happy to be asked for a tampon? It's like, yes girl, I've been preparing for this moment. Hell yeah, you can have a tampon. You need any ibuprofen? I remember when I was 18 I ended up at a house party that I didn't want to be at, with a guy I did not want to be with. I must have walked in with that look in my eye, because the hostess was by my side in seconds, taking me on a tour of the apartment, and finding out what the fuck was going on. After explaining the series of events that had led me here, she disappeared and reappeared with some other women. She was like, right, boyfriend is making talk with random guy. I've called you a cab. Let's go, and they formed a little semicircle around me and hid me from this guy as they ushered me out. I was near tears with gratitude and hugged her before jumping into the cab. Will always be thankful to that woman for recognizing how uncomfortable I was. I had no idea the help me eyes were a thing. One night at a fairly busy bar my GF went and took some girl to the bathroom acting like they were best friends. No big deal, figured they worked together or something. A few minutes go by, and they come out. She comes to me, and straight as an arrow, her name is Stassi, you're her good friend and need her help and to leave now. Meet me at the car with her. I'm sure I had a confused look on my face, because she just looked me dead serious and said go. I did as instructed. Apparently she had been there for like 2 hours and some creep was trying to get her blackout drunk and all that. Glad we could help her, but damn was that an eye-opening experience. When I asked my GF how she knew, she just said I could tell by her face. Worked nightclub security 4 years with a woman as head security. She taught many of us, men, to be on the lookout for this shit. Then we would just wander over and stand really close to the guy being a creep. They would inevitably get defensive. We were obvious security. Boss's policy was, if the woman did not defend the guy, get rid of him or call her, and she would deal with it more directly. She was a great boss and tough as nails. How to seem aloof enough to not attract unwanted attention, but not too angry looking to attract a bad person looking for a reason to harass a woman. For the most part, thank you and host/hostess gifts. I gave a thank you present to a guy friend, and while I could tell he appreciated it, he looked at me like I had just stepped off a spaceship. Guys just aren't socialized or expected to give those kinda gifts. Yes, just social etiquette in general. I always have to ask, what do you think we should bring? Or suggest stopping along the way to pick up wine or cookies or something. He always thinks it's too much, but my mother raised me to never arrive empty-handed. When we're hosting, he likes to question things too, like, are you sure we need that much beer? Or no, we don't need more cups, we have enough from last time. No, I will not be the person host party falls flat because we ran out of drinks or because there weren't enough cups for cocktails. That might just be his lack of event planning skills though, lol. The whole text me when you get home thing we do with our girlfriends. None of my guy friends ever ask their guy friends to do that. That and sending screenshots of the Uber/Lyft driver to your friends when you get in the car. And my girlfriends send me screenshots or contact info of their date when it's a newer person. Having to make a shower schedule. Can't wash hair every day, but need to take body showers and shave 2 days after washing hair. Do I realize I have to wash my hair again? I don't want to have to go through all the product steps and then blow dry and then style. Maybe I'll just go one more day and hide the grease. Dry shampoo for 2 more days. Wait. When was the last time I washed my hair? Hahaha, that's me every single week. Actively worry about cameras planted in our public bathrooms and hotel rooms. This My first day moving in with a male roommate, he made a joke saying he was going to install cameras in my bedroom. I was creeped the fuck out and told him if I ever caught him in my room, I'd have him arrested. My other roommate, who was also male, told him exactly how fucking psycho he sounded. I asked a bunch of my guy friends what the first thing they do when they get in their car is. They answered with things like put my seatbelt on, start the car, check my mirrors, etc. I asked some of my girlfriends the same thing and they all said lock the door without fail. In my experience, women think about safety first and everything else second. Historically, we've been through too much to think otherwise. Absolutely. A female coworker and I have the thing where we wave to each other from our cars every night to show each other that we're okay. Our 66, 200 pounds male boss asked us about it, and he was shocked. He never had to worry about his safety. Edit. Giant cat as vehicles would be amazing. Actively work to get over the ways we are socialized to experience attraction to certain things and repulsion from other things. Yes, we grow up being told that a tall, handsome, thin, muscular, rich prince is out there for us. But most women actually choose to grow up and stop looking for these things in a partner. It takes will and work to learn to appreciate socially undesirable characteristics as part of a whole person when society is constantly telling you certain things, from fatness to shortness to hair loss, make someone inferior and undesirable. Yet almost every man seems to think his attraction to conventionally hot, thin/curvy, light-skinned, unblemished, not smarter than him, not more successful than him women is an unalterable product of nature, rather than a product of social conditioning and entitlement. I have seen men have the verbal equivalent of toddler meltdowns when presented with the idea that they really can choose to develop attraction to members of their preferred gender or genders based on compatibility and genuinely important characteristics. Women do it all the time. Have concern over being raped at night, in parking lots, in elevators, by acquaintances, leaving bars or restaurants, for wearing revealing clothing, in their own homes, because they left a window unlocked. The list goes on. My husband will not lock our front door. We have two locks, and he leaves them unlocked all the time. I just can't seem to make him understand that I don't wish to be murdered/raped in my own home. Yep, I moved into a first floor apartment for the first time this summer and I seriously hate that I can't leave my window cracked at night for a little natural breeze. Protecting ourselves from sexual predators every day. Holding keys between your knuckles. Checking the backseat of the car before you get in. Locking doors and windows. Not using parking garages, etc. I don't think a lot of men understand the extent of this. I was once standing outside of a store with two friends when it was about 11 PM and a car pulled up right in front of us. All of the doors opened and inside were a bunch of men in probably their early 20s. The minute I saw that car coming towards us, I planned an escape and was prepared to start running for my life. I even grabbed my friends' wrists and was about to force them to come with me. They were shocked and didn't know what to do, but lucky for us, the men just catcalled, then slammed the doors and drove off once they saw another car coming. That moment was terrifying, but I'm glad that I thought fast and my instincts took over. Hugging someone and making sure my face is up and away from them so I don't get macute transference onto their clothing. Same for deodorant. If I'm wearing a short-sleeved top, having to gauge creepiness vs sweet old manness when interacting with older gentlemen. Very important when with older men of power, whether at work or at your place of worship. Unfortunate interactions in both places for me. I default into believing they're just overly affectionate sweet old men. Not always the case. Open bracket. Checking what the back of our head looks like when styling our hair. One thing that a lot of dudes seem really completely unaware of is all the steps I go through to avoid losing my wallet, keys, and cell phone. Getting those call your wallet devices. Only wearing jackets with zipper pockets. Owning several fanny packs. All that stuff, and still I lose my valuables frequently enough that people make fun of me for it. Everybody seems to be well aware that lady pants have shit pockets, but they seem to fail to notice that. And therefore, if you're a lady who's butch enough to not want to carry a purse, but not butch enough to wear literal pants for men, you have no natural way to carry your important objects. Managing the emotions of other people in social situations. Some men do this, and some women don't, obviously. But I notice in mixed gendered conversations a lot of effort by women to manage the egos of those around them. Some of us shave our faces, so makeup goes on better. Pre-planning to avoid being home alone if we are getting a delivery, or making it seem like I'm in a crowded house if I with extra precautions like having my dog and phone with me. My boyfriend was out on the back balcony last week when a delivery man came inside unnecessarily with our food, calling me honey and sweetie. Elevator opens up directly into our apt, and I was very rattled when BF Matty realized a few minutes afterwards. He was sympathetic, but I could see in his eyes that he just couldn't understand in the very least how scary something like that could be. Dressing appropriately for an event. My BF gets invited to a lot of social gatherings with well-known people in our community, fundraisers, galas, cocktail parties, and he never asks what the expected dress attire is. When I go to these things, the men are usually sporting jeans and a suit jacket because they don't have as many options to think about. Just basically, do they want to wear jeans or dress pants? But I have to consider an array of options and all the levels. Casual, business casual, formal like homecoming or ball gown formal, cocktail dress. It feels like totally different expectations for women at the events. Step aside in foot traffic. Even meek or gentle men are accustomed to women yielding when foot traffic is crowded. If a woman doesn't yield and walks as if she expects men to yield, she's regarded as lumbering and a bull in a china shop. I walk around on busy streets a lot these days, and I've started just not moving. I stay in my lane right side of the sidewalk, look ahead to where I'm walking, and don't get out of the way. If guys are walking towards me, many guys will get out of my way either BC they're polite and realize they're on the wrong side of the sidewalk, or they can sense I'm not gonna move. Plenty don't, so I just bump into them and keep going. It's kind of like a game lol, panicking to find a ride home after a late closing shift after work, 12 AM to 1 AM. The college city I live in is pretty dangerous at night, so I'll have to ask a coworker with a big enough car to fit my bike in for a ride since the buses stop running at 11:45 PM. I can't bring myself to pay the outrageous prices for Uber or Lyft in my city for a 10-minute ride, and the bike route home is full of bushes that someone can easily hide in out of view at night. Lava showers. Male partners always complained I shower too hot, which apparently is a female thing. One time I was on my period day 3 or something, and I was feeling bad, so I took a bath. Partway through my bath I sneezed, and out shot blood, and next thing I knew I was bathing in my menstrual blood. When I'm on my period I always crave taking a bath, but never do because I'm afraid that will happen again. Period, no baths.